Thursday. I wonder what was different last Thursday. Was there like a sports game?
I
Was it
don't
like a
know.
big gaming of The Sims 4? I don't know. I just
Might
chose The Sims 4 because I play it. I don't know. Maybe there's like there was a Halo thing. I don't
there's a
know,
small
but at least
chance it was
it was something.
their server was just bad,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
like we got to deal with that. Like we're gonna have to call them up or something and tell them
It was rude.
they're poopy heads.
Yeah, they are. They're Judo Head Cootie Queens.
What?
Remember that commercial?
Which one?
You don't the commercial that it's for I don't remember the gum, but they have to like the gum makes them their mouths clean. So they're chewing the gum
Yeah.
and they are saying there's two women and a man, and the man is cheating on his wife that comes in. I think she's blonde, and I forget what she says, like maybe like a poopy head, and then the mistress says, "Who you calling a cootie queen, you lint liquor?" But it's all clean because they're
Yeah.
chewing the gum. Well, I don't remember which gum it is, but it was. I don't remember anything except the mistress saying, "Who you calling a cootie queen, you lint liquor?" That is great.
First of all, lint liquors, excellent profession.
Mm-hmm.
Is it double mint? Is it Mentos?
I
Is
don't know.
it?
It was some gum from like the maybe it was mid 2000s, early
Oh,
2000s. I don't remember.
when was the
Yeah,
last time I
it's been a
watched
while.
TV?
Well, don't you watch film? Oh, well, I guess that's different. No, but then there's some like limited series that are like films.
Yeah, I mainly love television, but I do very much enjoy film. However, I watch all that either on a DVD because I'm old or a streaming network. I don't really have cable because I think cable. I don't like commercials.
Lame. Oh yeah,
As soon as the commercial hits, I'm just
it's
like, now
true.
I got to watch something else until the commercials are done, and then I forget that I changed it. Uh, you know,
Yeah. Oh well, do you have Letterboxd?
Letterbox? No. What do you mean?
I'll share my account. It's in the comments, y'all, if you want to follow me. But it's a Letterbox. It's for movies.
Oh, Letterbox.
So
Let's see.
you rate
Oh,
and review movies.
oh man. I don't know if I have all the. I've watched every single movie there is.
Yeah, ooh, that'd be fun. Well, I'm at how many? Uh, I'm at 1,086
Damn.
films
Oh yeah,
that
I
I've
see that.
read and rated.
Yeah, look at that. I'll have to set
Yeah.
that up. I saved it to my. I
Ooh.
One of my jobs was I was a manager at Blockbuster, and during that time, I seen a lot of stuff. I
Oh
would
yeah.
just I would just grab the. I would watch them in alphabetical order from like the old movies all the way to the new releases. Uh,
Damn.
and I just absorbed them. But like we had to watch
Yeah.
new releases, like no matter how crappy it looked, because you have to be able to like review it. And I'm like, no, you
Hmm.
don't. And they're like, yeah, you do. I go, no, you read the back, and then you just make up something. They don't care. You don't have to give them. It's good or it's bad. Well, I enjoy it. But if I see an actor on there that I know is terrible, I'll tell them, I think it's going to be a taste thing. I didn't enjoy it, but you might. You
Hmm.
know, and they're like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna watch stupid new movies that are stupid. You know,
Well,
Amer- American Pie.
uh,
College years is not fun. I'm not gonna watch that again.
well, there's some stuff that are cool. Well, I don't I didn't even realize I watched so much, but then again, why would I be surprised? Because I don't know. I always said, "Oh, I'm not a movie person because I don't like a lot of movies." but then I watched over 1,000. I'm almost at 1,100, and I'm
Yeah.
sure like if I like there are those lists that people create for themselves, whatever, and then they share it, and I can probably just skim all those lists, and then oh, I read or not read. I'm used to saying read. Oh, I watched all 15 of these. Then I have almost 1,100 at that point.
Yeah.
But well, we're currently watching, my husband and I, the remake of Roadhouse, and I was like, oh, this is kind of lame, but like a little amusing. And he's like, oh, this will hold up for to the same Roadhouse. I'm like, what the fuck? But you grew up with the original Roadhouse, whatever. You will know that.
The original Roadhouse is
watched it.
way better. There's actually a storyline. There's character development. There's an emotional through element. The new one's just like, look at me fight, and wittinisms. That's the thing. Like, people are starting to think wittiness is interesting, and wittiness is only interesting if you are emotionally connected to a character. And if you're not, it's not. You know, is there a hospital nearby? Do you have insurance? Like, now, when you say you're in the process, does that mean you watch movies in sections?
I mean the process. Well, yeah, because he decided to start it at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would you do that? It's a 2-hour movie. So
and you're like, I gotta go to bed at 8:15.
No, I gotta shower, read, and then go to bed because books are more important than a Roadhouse remake.
You don't read in the shower?
I could listen, I guess, to audiobooks. No, I finally got my first audiobook. It's a Taylor Jenkins Reid short story that's only an audiobook or ebook form. So I was like, well, I'll get the audiobook for free. Right. For some reason it was free. When I looked at it, I'm like, okay. But I only have to listen to it on my computer because I don't have a Kindle or a tablet, and I'm not putting that on my phone because I really limit usage of my phone because I can get easily addicted. So I'm like, okay, it's gonna be listened to sometime, because actually, fun story, Thomas, I didn't tell you about it. Wait, did I? No, I didn't. For the listeners and for Thomas.
For the listeners.
It's story time. Well, what was this? 2 nights ago, we were not going to do anything for Memorial Day, but then I got an email with a promo for this really old historic hotel on the beach. I'm not going to say where because then I don't want creepy people to find me. But it's very nice. It's like really secluded. And they were like, okay, we're going to do like, you stay 2 nights, you get the third one free over Memorial Weekend. I'm like, oh, fuck yes. So I just put it on my credit card, just slap that, just
boom.
Just do it. I don't care.
Took a little vacay.
Well, because we were looking at 7-year anniversary in July. We were looking, where are we going to go? And that same hotel in July was $400 a night. So we're going to go over Memorial Day weekend instead of just hanging out here doing nothing. I think that's going to be great.
Yeah.
And I was very excited, and I've already packed, but I have to repack because it's too bulky. I just threw stuff in, so I just got really excited. Mm-hmm. Oopsie. But it's like 10 to 15 degrees colder than here, and it's only 70 degrees here, which it's good because that really old hotel does not have AC. So we're going to stay cold. And it's totally fine. We just put a sweater or 2 on.
Yeah, when hotels have AC, I'm like, how did they fit it in here? It's huge in Jersey.
What joke is that? AC?
So Atlantic City, to us Easterners, is called AC. Do you want to go to AC for the weekend? It means Atlantic City. That is a cultural joke for the East people.
Well, I grew up on the East Coast, but I've only gone to Atlantic City once.
Oh, the ones to the boardwalk. Welcome to the boardwalk.
Well, we went and then like I don't even know what year it was, but I was in high school and we were gonna go swimming, and I don't even know what hotel it was, and it was not. There was this, and maybe they changed it. I don't know though, but there's this tube that was coming out of the hotel, and it
That's awesome.
and this suit, I don't even know what it was, but it was just crap coming out of that sewage into the water that you're supposed to swim in. And I'm like, everyone, fuck no. This is disgusting. I'm leaving. And then they saw it and they were like, what? And we just left. I don't even know what we did after. It was that whole thing was ruined. We didn't even want to sit on the sand because what?
Welcome
What
to
is
Jersey.
that?
Yeah. It's scary there. It's scary.
Jeez.
There's a smell in Jersey you can't even identify. It's just so weird there. That
yeah, it's
gross.
Confusing.
I don't know. Well, I'm glad you didn't go swimming because you'd probably be like, you know,
I would have like fins by now.
You'd have fins. Yeah. You'd be what's that person?
Gills.
Gills. You know, it'd be Toxic Avenger. That's who you'd be right now. You'd be the Toxic Avenger. We can't have that. Even though Peter Dinklage is the new Toxic Avenger, so that's good. They remade the movie, and Peter Dinklage is going to be the Toxic Avenger.
Which Avenger movie? They're doing too many. I don't care.
No. The Toxic Avenger is an old B movie, like a gore B movie back from like the where the you've never heard of the Toxic Avenger? Very funny stuff. It's all campy and stuff. Like very good stuff. It's very funny.
Oh,
you'd actually probably enjoy it, honestly.
I don't know about that.
And you know, but you know, if you like Roadhouse, the new one, you might not. But if you like the original Roadhouse, you would appreciate it.
It's okay. I can't say that it's great. I mean, it's amusing, but
yeah, it's flashy. Excellent cameras. Yeah. Terrible script.
Yeah.
Fun actors, except for this thing. I don't know what this is. The bad guy walks around like this the whole time. I'm like, is he all right? Has he got to take a poopy?
Probably.
I don't know, Nicole.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's a little much. I was like, well, okay. This is a very 80s movie, but sometimes you just have to accept that.
Or true 80s movies, though. Geez. Let's be honest. A true 80s movie is like a moment in time captured, you know, where like for example, Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, things like that. Like they're just like these isolated stories that people could just kind of relate to, and they don't have like a bigger message in the sense of like, you know, the movie Collateral, which is completely cerebral in its representation. You know, they're just these 80s movies have a very different style of telling a narrative. That's why I think Roadhouse didn't capture that essence, because it just felt like an action movie, whereas Roadhouse wasn't really an action movie. It was like there was something else going on there, and also there's an arc. There's a in Dalton has an arc, and in the new Roadhouse, he doesn't really have. I mean, he has one, but it's
I mean, maybe,
you know,
yeah.
As the Friends would say, you know, from Friends. You know, that's how they say F you.
Friends.
You've never watched Friends?
I haven't. I thought it was stupid, so I didn't see all of it.
Well, did you just watch the first season? Because I promise you, season 2 and on is much better.
2 and maybe 3. I don't even. Yeah.
And you were like, this is terrible? Well, you're also young, right? Aren't you like 20?
31. Sorry to burst that bubble. Yeah. Well.
31.
Well, oh yeah, Did I did I don't even know. I'm tired today. Like that's me in a nutshell. The I didn't remember at all that around this time I graduated from college, which was 8 years ago, and then my godmother sent me a picture. I was like, "Ooh, it's been 8 years." I'm like, I look the same. Actually, all three of us, because it was my godmother, me, and my mom, we all look the same. Great genes,
Yeah.
Just saying.
Great jeans. Yeah, but you
But
usually wear shorts. Ayo.
I don't actually.
I was just making a joke.
I don't.
I have great jeans. No. You usually wear shorts.
Oh.
Jeans, shorts.
Look, I'm not drunkety drunk today, and I'm not planning on that, so I'm not as like woo.
Have a little bit of vodka.
I have liquid death, Grim Reaper.
So
funny.
Looks good.
Yeah, and I don't know what I will get up to other than painting my nails. I had dinner; it's fine. So at least I don't have that.
What you eat?
Painting my nails. Beer battered fish tacos.
Oh my god! I thought you were gonna say beer battered fish sticks.
Oh god, no.
I'm like, were they frozen?
That would be nasty. That would be nasty. Yikes. Yeah, I know I'm going to paint my nails.
All your nails?
Today. No, I don't really paint my toenails. Just my. Oh my god, I can't get.
Is it because you're scared of your feet, or because
I know I have to really watch my toenails because I have impacted toenails.
Oh yeah, that's not fun.
And I have to. No, yeah. And they grow really fast, just like my nails. I'm like, do I really want to take off the nail polish for feet and hands every 3 days? No, because that's how fast they grow. So
you could cut off the big toe. You'll be fine.
Well, I wish, but yeah, because it's both two freaking nails.
I'll take care of it.
Oh yeah, that's not even sharp enough. My husband has sharper. He's got sharper and bigger.
These are hey, it's not about the size. It's about watching someone bigger take care of them.
Well, I have big tootsies.
Big tootsies. What do you have? A 6 or 7 for a girl? You got 7s, right?
Yeah, I'm 7.
7.
Yeah.
So that means you're a 9 in men.
No, wouldn't it be smaller?
No, I think it's let me see. What is a woman's what you said? What did we say? You're a 7? 7 in men's shoe sizes. You are correct. I stand corrected. It would be 2. I had the number right. It's 2, but it's 2 lower, not 2 higher. Why is that? Oh yeah, look at that. Oh no, apparently it's one lower. No, 7. Oh no, 6'5" is a 5, but a 7 is a okay.
That's a lot.
That doesn't make sense.
Nope.
Oh, it's 1.5 difference. It's a 1.5 difference. All right, whatever. There you go.
Yeah.
It says here women's feet are worshipped in some cultures.
Dainty. Yeah, that's true.
I might have been on the wrong site.
I bet so. You need to watch that.
Footfinder.com.
Be on a list.
Listen, I'm on plenty of lists. Trust me.
And what are you working on?
I am going to be organizing all the notes that I put together and adding notes to the chapters. So when I do the next draft, I could just look at the list and be like, oh, chapter 2, I have to do this. Chapter 3, I have to do that. It should be exciting. Yeah, I have like, what is it, 19? I got a lot. I got a lot of notes. I got a lot of notes I got to organize.
together.
Do you like heavy exposition, or do you like the exposition being filtered through the story over time?
The second one.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But some people are like, yeah, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know what this is. Yeah, but you will. It's called drop and leave. You know, Martin does that. R.R. Martin does that. He'll say the Night's Watch, and then he doesn't reference it because the character who recognizes the Night's Watch doesn't have to think about it because they already know everything about it. So they can compare something to the Night Watch, and then you have to say, well, what's the Night Watch? Because what is this thing that we are witnessing that they are comparing it to? Maybe there's an element of that, and get your brain thinking, so you can kind of be a part of the story.
Yeah. I'm already in there. Oh yeah, it's gonna be great tonight. But at least maybe I'll be more awake at 2 p.m. because tomorrow, everyone, we will be also doing a productivity sprint. We have to kind of regroup. I don't know, or maybe not. Whatever on the productivity streams because I don't feel productive, but I actually am being productive. But then it's like I'm really exhausted after 8 hours of work. And then I do another 2 hours of writing or painting my nails and talking and all that stuff. I don't even know. I'm just like, what now? What am I doing? This seems like a lot.
We could do the sprints during your job.
Yeah, that would be a horrible idea. That's why I'm just like, and what, like, I guess every Thursday I could start at 4, but then and take leave, like vacation leave. But then my boss would be like, why is there a pattern? So I am at a crossroads, everyone, and Thomas. I don't know. Or well, we were talking about going to Saturday or Sunday, but then I don't have 2 desktop screens to do the cool little timer. And then I would be making Thomas not be social on a Saturday or Sunday. So it's kind of interesting. But we are going to take some time off for the summer because I know y'all. I really think people are going to be busy. I am already busy, and you are very busy. So maybe I just need to recalibrate over the summer with only doing like 2 streams a month.
Yeah.
And see how that works out.
Whatever works for you, and then the other 2 we'll just have the cameras on, but we won't be on it. We'll just just get to the
That's
hours.
Creepy. Oh. Well, I know people somehow do it by themselves without a desktop screen. So I guess I could, or a second desktop screen. That's so much effort. I don't even know. But yes, and we also appreciate Thomas hanging out. So we're a little bit at a conundrum, everyone.
Life is so weird,
It is.
I wish I had a job though, so I could relate.
Yeah, I don't say. Yeah, thanks. Or like I just moved to a different time zone, and then it would make more sense. Yeah, because I'm on Pacific, so I'm behind.
Yeah, because you stopped work at technically 5.
Yeah, and I
8.
start at 5.
Yeah, it's 8 for me. So that's 3 hours of relax. Like you would get home, you'd be able to, clean boob sweat up or whatever.
Yeah. Take a shower. Eat dinner. Paint my nails. Unwind. No, I'm basically going 8 hours into work right into this, and I think maybe it's not completely productive. I don't know, but I can't say that it's not because I do get a lot done, but then I'm just exhausted afterwards. I don't even
Worst case scenario, you could just, instead of starting at 5, start at 6, and that'll only be an hour difference over here. Or you start at 7, which is 10.
Yeah, but we also have to take into account your stuff. Well, I guess could also be like 5:30.
Something to think about. Do
Yeah.
you have a day off from what do you call it, a job?
Yeah. Well, tomorrow I have a day off. That's why it's at 2 p.m. And I'm like,
I see.
let's start it at 2 p.m. Pacific and see if I'm not as exhausted. And I can, like, I do also, like, I have vacation and sick leave, and it's very generous, actually. But it's just like, do I want to take off and then do streams on a day off, even though it's
No.
2 hours? Like, it's
No.
kind
It wouldn't be
of,
worth it.
yeah, it's interesting, I guess. Also, then there's this whole thing with, I haven't written outside of these streams, but I was doing way more writing because ad school that I'm part of, Brian Cohen's ad school, they have what they call page pals, and they're silent Zooms. Like, so there's a group of people, but we're all writing, but it's silent and nothing is happening. Maybe there might be some chats in the chat, but like silent. But it works. But for some reason, yeah. But for some reason, my brain's like, you can only write on the stream, and I'm like, okay.
Well, you can write whenever
This
you
is
want.
stupid.
I assure you, I write whenever I want.
It's just weird. It's a weird time right now.
Do you-
I sent you that meme where it's the skeleton drinking, and it's like, what a year, huh? And the cat's like, it's May. Oh, did I not?
You didn't, but that's funny.
That was hysterical.
Meowses.
Well, I still also have the pre-order up for November. I mean, it's like,
you think
I
you'll be
have
ready
the book
by then?
cover. I don't know.
Did you finish the book?
No.
Which means you can't even edit it yet. It's 6 months. Less than.
Well, 6 months. Oh, no,
5 months.
Well, I'm probably gonna push it. It's whatever. No, and then that's the day before election. Why did I choose that? I blanked out. Didn't even think about it.
Well, luckily, no one will be paying attention to this year's election at all. I mean,
Yeah.
what are the chances?
Well, that's why I'm probably like, ooh, maybe do it after Christmas.
Oh yeah, or Hanukkah. Do it after Hanukkah.
I think this year's Hanukkah is like close to the end of December.
Maybe.
But we'll see. I actually like Amazon nowadays is pretty forgiving. Oh, Hanukkah, the first day is the 26th of December. Yeah, I was like, because my godmother's Jewish, and she's like, it's weird this year. I'm like, okay, I know it moves around, but that's
because of the Jewish calendar.
Yeah.
Does your godmother have powers? Can she like skin him a rinky dinky doo, skin him a rinky dee, and then she's like, you're
Is that Fiddler on the Roof?
Probably.
I didn't. Oh.
Matchmaker, make me a match. Make me a match.
I've only seen clips, so I don't know. Maybe she is.
Were they good clips? Well, listen, we're about 30 seconds to 30 minutes. Do you want to do a productivity?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Oh, wait. Here we go. It's fine. Sometimes you just need to talk it out, people.
It's so fine. All right, well, let's see. We're almost at 50 seconds. We're almost at.
Yeah, let's go for 30.
Let's do it.
Why not?
Let's do it. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
Here it goes. Go.
Tinkle, tinkle.
Tinkle, tinkle. Hey, what's up? How you
Oh, I
doing,
just have
Nicole?
I have 2 more nails to paint.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah.
didn't get any writing done. I knew that wasn't gonna happen.
So you nailed it, but you also did not nail it in a way.
Yeah,
You nailed it, but did not
in a
nail.
different way.
Yeah, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. This is pretty
You're so smart and witty.
good.
What did you do? Oh, productive one.
I got pretty far. I'm flying through some of the notes. Let's see. I got. Let me see where I'm at. Yeah, I went through. I got 4. Well, I'm on 5. 5 major notes have been added to the chapters, the narrative, because they're notes that don't just go into one chapter. They're notes that are like have to kind of be. I need to seed this throughout the novel for it to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And saying, just saying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well, I guess. Yeah.
You know.
You know,
To
a certain extent, yeah. Mm-hmm.
How would you like not to know? Like if you could not be aware of things, would that be a good thing for you? Would you be like, yeah, that's good. That's good.
Probably not. At the end of the day, though, there are some people where it's like, oh yeah, ignorance is bliss.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
Look, you can't go wrong with for a little ignorance, you know.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Someone's asking what productivity sprints are. I have to give them
How
some
come I don't
info.
see them in the comments?
Oh, this is on Facebook.
Oh, Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, Facebook.
I spelled
Facebook.
between.
What is a writing sprint? I don't know. How would you define it?
Well, I just said we sprint for 20 minutes with a co-host, and then we talk for a while in between, and we go for 2 hours.
Okay.
I can only type so much because my nails are, drying. But also, like, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but maybe not.
Maybe not.
If you're on AuthorTube, then yeah, it's self-explanatory, but I don't know. Yeah. Though I'm looking at chapter 18. It's a blank screen. I'm just going to X out of that because that's not going to happen today. Yeah, but I have Bunny. Oh snap! I have Bunny by Mona Awad.
Yeah.
And how long has it been? I think it's been at maybe a month. I'm gonna check Goodreads and see for sure when I started this book. This book, I would be interested in what you would think of it because the writing is so great that it makes you feel high because the characters are high. And I'm like,
oh, interesting.
That's a lot of effort. That takes talent because I feel high as fuck.
So they're high as in like, yo.
Yeah, they're on drugs. And you're like, okay, is this real or are they seeing stuff? It follows Samantha, who's a scholarship student at a very prestigious liberal arts private college, whatever, getting her graduate degree in creative writing. And she's agonizing. I just think it's funny. She's agonizing over finishing a manuscript. Just one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, oh girl, I can't relate. Um, but she's trying to be like the next, like Margaret Atwood, Ernest Hemingway. I'm like, maybe just write the damn book. But you know, there are people like that. There are people like that out there. They're like, oh, I have to do it. I can't not be like Margaret Atwood or pick another classic literature person with great talent. Yes. Mm-hmm. Cool. And so then she's an outsider, but there's this group called the Bunnies, and it's like 4 or 5 students. I can't even like 100% tell sometimes because they're all so high. And she decides to go to an invitation party at one of the bunnies' houses, and then they just drug the crap out of her and just give her a bunch of alcohol. And at that point, that's when you feel like you're high, and they're summoning bunnies and then doing like spiritual rituals to make the bunnies into perfect men, but they're not perfect men, so they like explode. And I'm like, is this real? I can't tell. And they're all still so high as a kite doing all of this, and it's in first person present and through Samantha, and I'm just like, oh my god, I can only handle like 30 pages at a time. That's why it's taking so slow, and it's less than 300 pages. I just can't. It's almost 2 months now.
Yeah.
So I want to finish it sooner rather than later, so maybe I just need to read and not write. I think that might be where I'm going with it.
So
But
it's going to be a reading sprint.
It's productivity. I've been reading this book, honestly, maybe for too long. I'm definitely going to do a review on it. But, like, I would be interested to see what you would think, because it takes skill to make you feel high through just writing. And I feel high as hell. I can't read more than, like, 30 pages without taking a break. Usually, like, a less than 300-page book would take a day or two.
Yeah.
It's taking me 2 months.
High
Good
as a
for you,
kite.
Mona. Oh yeah.
All right,
But
well,
in the first
I'm gonna have to
few
read it.
chapters, yeah, but in the first few chapters, Samantha's normal. Like she drinks, but it's not like mixed with like 5 other different drugs. So she's normal, and she's sarcastic and depressed all that stuff because she needs to write the great novel or whatever. But then when she gets to hang out with the bunnies and she joins this weird bunny cult, then you can see the shift, and you're like, holy shit, that's really good. That's great writing right there. And then it goes kind of back and forth. It's like she takes you know, a couple breaks from the bunnies because she knows like it's really weird, and she doesn't really understand if it's real or not.
Yeah.
And then she goes back to normal, but then she keeps going back to the bunnies, and then it's instantly they give her a bunch of drugs, and then you're reading her high as hell, and now I am high, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a lot. So I give Mona Awad so much props. I don't know if it can be 5 stars though, because it's taking me so long, and I can't read more than 30 pages without having to take a break. And but that could be good. I don't know. I have to see the ending.
It's an experience, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess so. Like you can't guess what's going on. I have no idea.
Like me personally, or the royal you?
No one can guess what is happening in this book. It does not follow anything. It's like dark academia, I guess.
Yeah.
But maybe it's like dark academia literary fiction, because I don't think the ending is happy whatsoever. But it could also be a little bit of satire, because it's poking a lot of fun at private liberal arts institutions and writers that think that they're going to be the next so and so, and they can't finish a manuscript because they're just so great, you know, or they're so great that they just can't.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in a process, you know, or it's I'm so great. Oh my God, I had the weight on my shoulders. I just have so much weight. I'm just, I can't right now. I just need to have an existential crisis every 5 minutes because I'm so great at writing. And it's just like, bitch, just write. Like, so she's making fun of them. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel that because that happened a few times when I was going to college. I'm like, maybe you just need to sit down and just write some stuff out and just realize it's never going to be perfect. And why do you think you're the next Ernest Hemingway? I would love to know your backstory to think that. Because I don't know if you want that. Do you want that? Do you know about him?
Some people, they're like, I'm really good. And it's like, nah, you crazy.
Yeah. Like, do you want to, like, off yourself? Like, are you, I don't know. I don't think you want to choose Ernest Hemingway. But, oh yeah, I got this. It's so great. It was in Pride of Lions by Morgan Llewellyn, and it does not match Pride of Lions. Okay,
Yeah.
Pride of Lions is Irish historical fiction, but then like I was going through because it's a used copy for like $6, and I was going through it, and then David's PP just slapped me in the face, and I was like, I'm gonna use this bookmark that I got for free. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
For like not even pretentious, or like just like books that wouldn't make sense, or maybe it does. It's a vibe, like, ooh, the Statue of David with Samantha thinking that she's the bee's knees. I don't know, just get laid and just have David's little wee wee in your face, Samantha, in between the pages of the book. So that's probably what I'm going to do for the next 2 sprints, if we do 2 sprints.
That's the way you got to do it. You get anything with wee wees really is the secret.
Yeah, I think I open it and I think this is so funny. I know they were trying. There were multiple schools and even colleges that were trying to censor the Statue of David, and I'm like, there's nothing there. For one thing, but also one of them was an art class. I'm like, really? I know y'all are watching Corn. Okay.
What?
Corn porn.
No.
I know y'all are watching that.
No one
as
watches
like
that.
18, 19, 20-year-olds. Why are you saying that you need to censor David, the Statue of David?
Yeah, that's really weird.
In a class. What?
I mean,
you're in an art class. Shut up.
to be fair, though, it is like a it's like a 4-foot penis because the statue is like 15 or 16 feet high.
Pictures of it.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
They're not going into like, so then I guess, well, if you have a huge projection on a screen and you're seeing it, but it's still like, if you're seeing the whole picture or the whole statue, it's really tall. So you have to zoom out.
Yeah.
And so it's not like really in your face, but his balls are bigger than his uncircumcised peewee.
He's got big balls.
Maybe they're concerned because they've never seen an uncircumcised wee-wee. And they're like, oh my God, I'm traumatized. And like,
that's all I see is uncircumcised penis. That's when I'm on the internet, I search specifically for uncircumcised.
But I guess they don't.
Yeah, they're weird people.
In the United States, it's not a thing. I'm just like, I don't know why you are an art class getting an art degree, because you're gonna see a lot of naked bodies.
Wait, what?
Or like the picture of Aphrodite. People were upset with that. I'm like, for what? For what?
Aphrodite's boobies.
Yeah, you need to change majors, please, and go away. Actually,
I want to see her boobie. I want
Well,
to see
all the
her
guys are like,
boobie.
yes, and all the ladies like, oh my god, I can't. I'm like,
Nipples
why?
are so scary.
I know. It's
Get them out of my eye.
bizarre.
Some people are weird.
Yeah, don't be an art major if you have problems with nudity.
Yeah, I'm scared of nudity. It makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, that's why you're a writer. So I guess you don't see it, but you write about it.
Yeah, I got the boob. Felt like sandbags. Nice and fluid in my hand.
There's like oh no, it's not this book. There's another book. It's very pretentious, where the guy is trying to describe boobs.
Yeah.
And no, what is oh no. Oh.
Oh.
Which one is it? Ooh. Oh.
Ooh.
Oh shit.
Son of a.
Oh.
Don't do it.
No. God, where is it?
But you fell off?
Oh my god. Where's that stupid dude's name? I mean, not stupid. I can't think. I have to scroll a lot, but it was just like I don't know how you're a writer and then like you don't know how to describe
boobs
properly. Yeah, I don't.
I write it very like adult like, where it's, very respectful.
Yeah.
It's like he grabbed her voluptuous boobs. Just says written. Oh,
that'd be good. I'll find it somewhere. Oh, you should also you should read Dead Inside by Chandler Morrison.
All right.
It's satirical. Just go in knowing it's satirical splatter horror. I'm giving you a list, Thomas.
Yeah, you're gonna have to send it to me. My brain. Okay. Are you comfortable writing about descriptive elements like that?
Yeah, I just don't have any reason to for my books.
Do you want them in your books, or are you like, I'm glad they're not in my books?
I have like some sex scenes in Danu's Curse, and it works more than the other books because it's pre-Christianity and the Celts were horny little cutesy wussies, with their open sex. They didn't mind pre-Christianity, and then a little after Christianity hit, they're like, I'm still gonna have multiple wives, and like they can mess around, but just don't say anything. And don't get pregnant. But that's the only kind of graphic sex scenes, but they're not even that much. So
so you don't want Bloodsworth to be
sense.
looking at Tessa getting naked, like she gets out of the shower and she forgets, she thinks no one's there and her stuff is out, and he's like, you would describe it very sensually, but then he's just like, but I'm not interested because,
Well, I don't know what would be the point to the story.
Well, don't you think
there has to be a point to the story?
It's like watching a movie or a TV show and you're like, why are they naked?
Yeah, I don't have that. You need to make sense with your stuff.
But when is nudity make sense? Because even when they're having sex or making love, like, you don't need to see it. You could just have it on their shoulders and faces, because that's where the real emotion is. The emotion's not in the grinding of their calves or the way it looks like in shows where it looks like they're making love to the belly buttons. Like, because the weird angles. But you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, like, True Blood.
Yep, 100%. Like, I'm okay with nudity because, like, nudity I think is beautiful, and obviously I think it should be overexposed so we don't have the default setting of it's sexualized. Like, we should be able to see nudity and not reduce it to just being like hee, 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 like real sexualization. You know, obviously I make jokes when I do that, but I think in America at least, you know, we very sexualize
Yeah.
even just feet, you know, so it's like, but I still think it's weird when you're watching a love scene and then they're just like showing the butt of the girl and her legs and then going up her back. We're not seeing
Hmm.
faces. We're not seeing them, you know, like we're not seeing the love making. We're just seeing her butt.
Well, that's like the male gaze to tantalize
Yes, I completely
for whatever
understand
they
that, but it
do
also
that.
makes no sense still. You know, like it's not necessarily telling. There's no
Well,
story
if
there.
if it's like I don't know, some movie,
Game of
uh
Thrones, the
well, the
sex position.
majority wouldn't be the majority of viewers be games would be men, so that's probably why they're doing that.
Maybe, but again, you know,
Male gaze.
I think my
And
position
then
isn't necessarily like I understand the male gaze, audience puller, like I get that, but my position is more or less like narratively, it
oh yeah, it
rarely
doesn't
ever
make
makes
sense.
sense. And it
Hmm.
just seems gratuitous where it's just there's an infamous scene that actually created the phrase sex position where Littlefinger, Lord Balin, is or Baelish is basically telling his story, right? But he's just telling it to two women who are like having sex with each other, but it's also they're having fake sex because they have to make it sound real. And he's telling this
Yeah.
really intimately truthful story about himself, and he's a character that's not necessarily always honest. And they're just going, and you hear him, you know, and he's going on, and that is why when I was a child, you know, and then like it finishes, and you're like, all right. And it turns out they just added that because the director and the writers were like, we have to have something going on here because it's just him talking. So they're like, well, just have.
Horny little twats. That's what's
And
happening
I was like,
here.
okay. It was so
Yeah, it
weird.
doesn't really work. No.
Yeah, so weird. So weird.
Yeah.
What was it? Weird.
It's oh yeah. Well, yeah. Uh
Yeah. What do you think?
yeah, I don't
Maybe.
even know.
But who do you think?
Well, I am honestly thinking we should do another sprint.
Let's do
Also
it. You
because I
ready?
need to go to the bathroom.
All right, go. Oh wait, you ready? You got to make a
No,
one
we
or a
gotta go.
two. What are we doing?
It's just a tinkle tinkle
It's a
for
tickle.
Eloise.
As long as the stream isn't 4 inches thick, you should be good.
That'd be very concerning.
Why it is a liquid goo black texture? Should I go to the
That's
doctor?
yeah, that's probably when you're about to die from dehydration. I have heard that if you're extremely dehydrated and you're about to die, like it's not really liquid anymore. I mean, it's kind of, but it's not.
Yeah,
It's not good. Always hydrate, people. Okay,
that's funny.
don't do that. It's really bad.
All right, well,
And
go
let's
let
go.
out the hydration. I'll see you in a couple minutes.
Oh yeah.
Boom. Oh, interesting.
Oh
Welcome.
yeah. Yeah. Well, we had someone pop in. Hey, oh my. Andy saying hi. Yeah, see, I think this Thursday a lot of people are exhausted. Not just us, but also Andy. So it's 3 people out of a billion. So we're gonna say exhausted.
Exhausted.
Done. Our brains are done too. Yes. Oh yeah. Andy might join us if he's not as exhausted tomorrow. He might join us, and it'll be the 3 amigos. By the way, but he has a stream on his own channel beforehand, and then he might get on to hang out and maybe be productive. But that would be nice because it's always just the 2 of us. Maybe make it a threesome.
What?
What? Oh,
I'll make sure to
like
get my
this.
shots.
I smashed that like button harder than avocado and guacamole. Now I want some guac.
Smash it. Smash it.
I want some num-nums.
Smash it. Smash it.
Mm.
Smash, smash, smash.
I think other than homemade guacamole, which is obviously superior, but I think Chipotle has the best guacamole.
Well,
have you had that? What do you think? This is
I don't
debate.
eat Chipotle, but I do love Chipotle's commercials.
Oh, where they're just like, it's authentic.
Is it Chipotle? What's the one with the hamsters? Oh no, that's Quiznos subs. Never mind.
That's old. What?
Yeah.
They don't even have Quiznos anymore.
Eat that Quiznos subs.
Yeah, that's off. Yeah. I was just talking to my husband and I was like, I miss the Taco Bell Chihuahua. But apparently someone, I don't know how or why, but they were sued because that whole idea or whatever, I guess they took it from someone, and so they can't do the Taco Bell Chihuahua.
Interesting.
Which I don't know. Is that legit or is that just an urban legend? IDK.
It might be a mixture of a little bit of everything. I don't know.
I just have fond memories.
Did you get anything done, or you were just reading about boobs?
I was reading about bunnies.
Bunnies.
Pretentious poets and writers, which is accurate at a private liberal arts college.
Nice.
In a graduate program. I had I was going to do a master's in creative writing. I don't know why. Because that's what a lot of the English lit peeps were going to do, or they were just going to do English literature and language and then write a huge essay, on a specific time period, blah, blah, blah. And there's this one professor that was like, so are you gonna, get into the literary business? You want to be a literary agent? You want to, do that? What are you interested in? And I'm like,
yeah.
Well, I guess. And he's like, if you guess, then do not spend $100,000. Because at least for creative writing on the East Coast, and I think he was talking broadly as someone with a PhD in creative writing, you go in to teach, and you do, or you could be a literary agent or open a literary agency or try and make it as a writer. But he was like, you're just making connections. You're paying to make friends and colleagues.
Yeah.
Is that worth it to you? I'm like, no.
Yeah,
so I didn't do it.
Not fun.
I'm like, thank you for being honest. But yeah, I was like, thank you for being honest. He's like, yeah, I don't get that vibe from you. I do not get that.
I gotta hang out with people. I
like,
gotta talk to people. Yeah, no,
well,
you're
like,
right. You have
no,
a writer's personality. Stay home and talk to characters that don't bother you.
Well, also I can make friends other places. I don't need to spend 100K on an MA in creative
Oh, yeah,
writing
yeah.
to say that I know how to critique and analyze. That's what I was doing for 5 years already. I don't need to pay for that. Yeah, and then like I was on Twitter for a while before I left because it's just a dumpster fire. And it's like I was in cliques and all that stuff, and like that's how I found my old cover artist, and that's how I befriended a lot of writers. Like it's not difficult. I don't, and I'm not paying 100,000K for that. Oh, but you know, you do get like, I have an MA in creative writing. Okay, what do you
Yeah.
do with it?
You do this, and then you do that, and then you
You
go home.
What do you? Yeah, and then I'm now in debt. Great,
I was once working on set
but
with a big name, and then this girl's like, I went to acting school, and it's terrible because like now I have like 60,000 in debt, and I'm like,
yeah.
why'd you go to acting school? She's like, so I could have a career. I was like, when did you graduate? She's like, 4 years ago. I'm like, do you have a career? And she's like, no, I don't know what
Yeah, how's it
happened.
going?
I go, are you
I don't
relying on
know.
the degree to get you a career? Because we're both filming the same thing, but I didn't go to school. And she's like, how did you get this
Yeah,
work then? I go, oh, I know people. And she's like, oh, nepotism?
yeah.
I was like, no, I know,
No,
like I made friends with people.
thanks.
And she's like, well, that's the problem with this
Yeah.
industry. It takes away from people that actually spend money and learn the system. And I was like, you didn't learn the system. You went to
What do
school.
you
There's
mean
a
learn
difference,
this? Yeah, you didn't. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, there's some. I know that there like a couple of booktubers that are like, if you don't have a creative writing degree or an English lit degree, then you don't know how to analyze a book properly, and so you shouldn't be doing. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Also, I do have a bachelor's degree in English lit, and it almost ruined reading for me because it's analyzing every single word and every single sentence of every single paragraph of every single page, and in this essay of 35 pages with 50 MLA formatted citations, here's my thesis. I don't give a shit anymore. Okay, it took so much effort.
Yeah.
I'm just reading for fun. How about that? And if I really, and I'm still analyzing and stuff, but I'm not tearing it to pieces to then fit my thesis. Because let's be real, unless you're assigned something to argue, you are finding your opinion and then creating your thesis and then finding things to support your thesis. You're
Yeah.
not you're not faced with a thesis and like, I'm going to just discover if this is real. No, you're trying to get an A. Okay. So you're finding all these you're finding these citations to match your thesis,
Yeah.
which is your argument. Like your thesis. Hamlet wasn't crazy, he's just acting crazy. And then, okay, go. You're finding your citations and your quotations to get yourself an A because that's what you're arguing in this 40-page
Well,
paper.
Hamlet is
So
not crazy.
no, he's
He's
pretending
making
to
the
be
choice.
crazy.
Yeah, because there's literally a
Yeah.
moment where he just accepts that it's all shit, and he's just like, ah, whatever, and he goes back to just being himself, and then everything, and then that's when it actually goes to hell. I made that
Yeah.
choice when I played Hamlet, and people were like, "Why are you not playing him crazy?" I go, "Because he's not crazy. He's probably the
Yeah.
most sane
Same.
person in the play, because you know everyone else is doing crazy things."
Yeah, he's acting.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. I mean, there are definitely things that are like, oh, here's this, here's a bunch of quotes and scenes and citations that do fit my argument, and you, like 95% of critics will say this or that, but then you're also not adding anything, are you? But it's an easy A.
Mm-hmm.
So
A.
A. So yeah, I did not need that 100K graduate degree just to say that I can write. Obviously, it's I did not I learned some things, but a lot of things I learned just by reading and talking to other writers. Amazing concept.
Yeah, I still don't know anything about writing.
I would say you do. You can, I guess you can articulate all the stuff that you do.
Yes, yeah,
To
I can.
write.
What you were saying
I
earlier, that
can't.
it's not that I'm seeing a bias of opinion to the works. It's that I'm seeing foundational technique being misused, which is there. Like when I tell people something is good or bad, it has nothing to do with preference. Like I can love something that is terrible, and then I could hate something that is great. And those are not the same things, but you can look at a piece of writing with a non-biased eye and be like, well, they are using immersion poorly or incorrectly, or there's no inciting incident. It's just the story is just going. We're still in the ordinary world, and nothing's been challenged, and like you can recognize things that are needed in a story, which is ultimately what a developmental editor does. They don't look at it and say your writing is bad, because honestly, there is no critique to writing, because however you write is the way you write. Like it's your style, it's your voice. If you choose to use flowery language, that's your choice. If you choose to use a lot of hard chapter breaks, that's just your choice. If you want to write a quick, fast book like you do, that's a choice. There's all that. You cannot critique any of that. The thing that can be critiqued is the foundational elements or tools and techniques that are utilized to write a book. For example, if we're just talking about formatting, if you don't indent the first sentence of a chapter, or after a hard or soft chapter break, right? But you have to indent every passage. That has nothing to do with being a good or bad writer. That's a tool of formatting. So, like, if there are no indents, that's bad, right? But it doesn't mean they are a bad writer or the story they wrote is bad, right? But some people, they're like, what do you mean? You think I'm bad? No, you're not bad. You're just, there's certain things you're not implementing. But your words are great. You put nice words together, and the way you described that door was really good, but it's not being filtered through a character. So now it's technically bad, but the words you chose are great. It's just the bad is you have to filter experiences through characters, or it becomes so pulled away from the emotional truth that you cannot experience it. What's the other big thing that people do when it comes to that? They forget the rule that every line must have one or more of these three elements: plot, character, or world building. And if every line has one of those three things, you're doing well. And people go, every line? What if I just want to describe something? Well, if you describe it through a character, if you filter it through a character's experience, that is character development, because what they see is character choice, therefore developed. Because the way you and I might look at a pond filled with birds and kids playing with kites, and right, but then you're like, oh, did you see how beautiful the clouds were? And I was like, oh, I was looking at the birds. Like, those are two different perspectives, and those are character choices, therefore it's character development. So describing something is not necessarily storytelling, right? Because again, it's like, let's have a fight scene. All right, but what is what are the stakes? What are the emotional truths? No, it just looks cool. Like, I'll have them doing real, authentic moves written in the book, and like I'll name all the moves that people don't know, because not everyone goes to martial arts, and not everybody is right. And you're like, well, your choices of words are great, but you're missing core elements that make it good writing, which you know,
Mhm.
I will always stand by that argument. I believe there's such thing as good and bad writing, but I do not believe that dictates I like it or don't like it. I think those are two different brains, you know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
You agree?
I
Disagree?
think we have agreed on that.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah. I
like
remember.
I know like I love Sarah J. Maas, but like it's not capital L literature. Like I'm amused. And she knows how to write characters. Does
Yeah.
she say mate and fuck and all these words like 200 times per book? Yeah. And like, does it get annoying a little bit after a while? Yeah. But then also when you're I don't know, when you're with a traditionally published like publishing house or a small press, how much does the writer have in control? Because at a
100%.
certain point, at a certain point, the editor's like, oh yeah, you said mate in this 600 page book 200 times.
But that comes
Do
down
it.
to voice.
Yeah.
Well, and that's so what I have
But
experienced.
the thing is like, oh my God, mate 200 times. You can't think of anything other.
Well, no, I agree. I
Yeah.
agree with you, but again, that comes down to preference, right? And that's not necessarily so the only thing publishers are really looking for, other than it's a coherent story, is that it's coherently written through the foundational elements of tools, right? So even when I was working on television scripts or film scripts, their notes were never like you used, F this too many times. They were like, I don't understand the motivations of this character. You need a scene or something to really make sense of why they're doing the thing. But they don't care how you do it. They just want you. That's usually what their notes are. I mean, I have seen stupid notes like, we're being sponsored by Coca-Cola, so we're going to need them drinking Coca-Cola. But like, I think that's a very different note than a critique note. But when it comes to even a couple of my clients, one of them came to me with their publisher notes, and it was just, we want a prologue. We need a prologue. Another one was, the pacing is really quick. You think you could slow it down, and that has nothing necessarily to do with the choices, but they would have to rework those chapters. Like if they're like the first 3 chapters, the pacing is just wacky. That's a valuable note. Like it's too fast. It's, we're not really getting any time with the characters. But once they start saying, hey, you should add a character named Jim, and they have one eye. I have, in my entire existence in the entertainment industry, I've never experienced that as a note from in any area, be it script or book. They don't necessarily give you creative notes. They give you directional notes to make more sense. A really great note that I heard once, not for me specifically, but an author friend, they told me that the publisher that gave them a note, it was basically like they loved the main plot of it was like a romance book. They loved the main plot of the woman falling in love with the guy and everything that happened there. They just felt it was lacking a second or third a tertiary plot, a secondary or tertiary plot that would help round out the character. But they didn't tell them what those plots should be. They were just saying, if you add these 2 additional plot lines, they don't have to be major, just a secondary and a tertiary. It would add dimension not only to the characters, but it will fill up the narrative. And again, that's a great note, but they're not necessarily. However, I will say to your question, if you don't do that, they might not publish it. And the reason is because they're telling you how to fix your book and you're choosing not to. But covers, you have a say in the covers. People think you don't, but the way you look at the cover and the way they know covers are not the same thing. So it's good to listen, but you're allowed to say, I don't like that, or, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's some problems, and I'm not the only one that's noticed about like line edits. That would probably be line edits where it's like you've said this word 200 times. Do you want to rethink that?
Well, there is an
What's going on?
overuse of words. Yeah, I agree with that. But
Yeah.
I think it's
Well, then
it's
also
phrasing.
taking out filler words as well.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
well,
that's what
poor writing.
yeah.
Filler words are some filler words are okay because if it moves through a moment that's not important per se, leaving the filler word, like, you know, he looked over and saw them coming, like that's fine. But like if everything is filtered through those filter words, then you're not experiencing the moment. So that's a valid critique, not on writing, like style of writing, but foundational elements. You can't have only filter words because then you're not becoming immersive.
Well, it's also like words that like I will cut out, like though, just, that, some other ones, and you can see like how many times have you used it and does it need to be there? Most of the time it doesn't. And the ones that are in there in my books, I'm like, this makes a difference.
Yeah, tightens up the book.
But yeah. So there, I think lately, I would say like the past 6 to 8 years, it seems like traditionally published and small press books are not getting line edits, and then it can be distracting.
Yeah.
Okay, for small press horror novels, I don't know what the fuck is happening, but they did not do any editing. They're like, ooh, this is as it is. Let's publish this book with no editing whatsoever. That happened twice last month for 2 horror novels. It was The Resurrectionist and
it's not uncommon for a self-published author to
I know, and it's small press. I'm like, I would be fucking pissed.
Yeah.
I don't have rights. I gave you my rights.
Well, you gave them licensing rights, which means they don't own it. They're just licensing it from you for X amount of period. They do have the right to change it, though. Copyright. Did you know that? So when you license
the Black Farm and the Resurrectionist.
The Black Farm.
I would be pissed if I was them. Like for the Resurrectionist, for the Black Farm, I was editing in my head. It's not good when I do that.
It's also not called good. The Black Farm, you know, like.
Yeah, and it could have had developmental edits as well. But I was like, what's up with these small presses for horror novels?
Could be cost. You know, like you're a nobody author, and they're like, we're a small press already. You're the one who should really pay for that, and then we'll just publish it because we're a small press. It's like with record labels. There's certain record labels, like back in the day when it mattered, not when Spotify just, you know, streaming destroyed everything. But back in the day when I was in the music industry, there's a difference between you know, Sony Records or Warner Brothers Records and say like Epic Records. You know, one is going to finance the marketing and the other one is going to be like, we'll give you an upfront bonus, but you have to pay for your own marketing. You know. So it's the same thing with writing. You know, some presses, even the major presses, though, they're not necessarily paying for marketing for all their authors. They're paying, you know, for the
not the new ones. They're telling a lot of new and kind of new writers now. You do the marketing on TikTok,
which is going to be gone soon.
And I'm just like, I will have my rights and I get to choose every single person I work with. You know what? If there are some typos in my book, shit happens, okay? But at least I can, like, someone tells me, oh, on these pages there's typos. I go into Atticus, my formatting software. I change them and then I re-upload. And oh my gosh, look, they're gone. Like,
it's gone.
They're disappeared for the next person. who gets it, and it's like it never happened. But yeah, The Resurrectionist has been out since like 2015, and there are, the slash. There are multiple typos. That's slash in the word.
Yeah.
What's this?
I don't know.
I would be pissed.
I don't know.
If I was Raph James Wright, I would be pissed. I'm like, what's happening? And it was turned into a B movie. Don't say that you don't have any money now.
Welcome to the B movie. Speaking of
Rude, but,
having to republish something, right? Like if you're like, oh, the spelling, I caught the bad spelling and I changed it, right? What are your thoughts on the idea of, like, let's say you release a book, let's see you release the 3 murder mystery books, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not that you can do it now because the books got released pretty early on, but like let's say like a year or 2 down the road, you decide to do another 3 books, but as like but they're all connected, all 6 books are connected, right? And what you do is sort of like almost release a author's cut of the original first 3, like you add a chapter or you add like new elements, or you kind of like it's a revamped version of the book as part of the collector's edition for the new release. I think that would be an interesting, because they do that with movies and stuff, and they do that with television. Like if you buy the DVD of a show, sometimes you get additional scenes, and not just like the scenes they cut out, but like in the actual show, they'll use different cuts or different takes. Or I've always thought about that as an opportunity, like the Devious series.
Something that's for your newsletter. There's a different way that indie writers do it. With that, and it's a reader magnet or a lead magnet. Yeah. Like I have a short story that's in between books 1 and 2 for City Murders and Murderous Fairies, and if you sign up for my newsletter, you get it for free. And it's the same for A Patriot's Tale has a short story. So I give out 2 free stories on my newsletter. Nice. You sign up for it, and then people will writers will do like deleted scenes and stuff just for the people in the newsletter. That's if you want to do newsletter.
I'm talking about generating new sales, like, because if you bought the 3
then they are interested, then they'll get the sales. But the problem with that is Amazon is cracking down on duplicate. So that would probably be pulled.
Oh, it wouldn't be a duplicate.
You could have your account terminated.
It would be like a special edition set. So instead of buying a single book, you're buying the 3 special edition books as a set, preparing for like a box set. Box set.
You can do box set. Yeah, you can do box set. Well, they call it omnibuses because you can't actually do a box set on Amazon. Yeah. If you're printing through Amazon. I don't think you can do it on Ingram Spark either. Us small fishes in the pond can't do fancy stuff. But you do like the idea for self-published books is that if you have 6 months of little to no sales and it's in a series, then you do an omnibus. But it has to be 6 months or more with little to no sales. If your books are selling, then you don't want to do an omnibus because it's making money and you're making profit.
But yeah, that's why I said to boost sales. Like if you're down and you're like, well, I have the next series coming out, I should re-release the old series as a director's cut, basically, where it's like it's been updated. It was I ran through it or something, because there's actually a version of it's called Way of Kings Prime, and it was the original version of Way of Kings, and he released it for free, obviously, because he's like, it has 0 editing. Mm-hmm. It was literally the first draft of the first version of that book, and he goes, just so you can kind of see where it started and where it came from. Like that, I understand what you're saying, where it's like give away free stuff. But I'm literally talking about a collector's. They do that with other books. I've seen that done with like the Dungeons and Dragons books and stuff like that, where it's like Frankenstein was re-released, during her time. adjusted it. The Hobbit was re-released.
Mhm.
We talked about this during the Lord of the Rings video that we did that you could watch on Nicole's channel that has us talking about would it be would it be published today? We don't know. You got to go watch the video. We can't tell you. But the Hobbit was re-released in Tolkien's time because he went back and re-established that scene. So there are variations of that, and I think that's just a collector's element.
Yeah, you could do maybe like you would have to do research because Amazon's getting pissy about, like, for example, large print. And so people with large print books are getting into trouble with Amazon because it's like you're trying to game the system.
What do you mean?
And they're Amazon saying you're trying to game the system, you're trying to make too much.
Trying to make
so
too
you
much
have
money?
regular. Yeah, you're trying to do too much. So they're trying to get large print pulled down. And what Ad School is saying is to reply, so does that mean you want to completely cut out all the people that are visually impaired? Because that's really what it is. The large print is for only specific genres like cozy mysteries. The majority of readers in cozy mysteries are 50 plus. So it is actually expected after a certain point, like if you're making money, to do large print options. So you can have a 70-year-old reading your cozy mystery and not have her, have vision, like headaches or whatever, or just simply be able to read it, because large print is better for the visually impaired. But what Amazon is going off on now is you have duplicates, you're trying to game the system. No, it is a specific market for specific genres.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That cater to the older market where they are nearly blind. And so it's large print. So they're like, it's a very weird game that Amazon's playing right now.
Yeah, but even
like, why would you go over off large print? They're saying duplicates, so that's why you have to do research, because they might say, "Oh, you're trying to game the system."
Yeah, but if you release a soft cover, and then you release a hardcover, that hardcover has its own number. Like, you have to get your own number for it, don't you? Can't release, right? Because it's a different book. But if you also do a box set, that also has its own number. So it wouldn't be duplicating a product; it would be making a new product. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but they're trying to argue that I don't know.
Are you not allowed to do that?
It doesn't make sense. Well,
you can't do a hardcover and a soft cover.
Not. No, they can, but then when you're doing large print, they're getting upset about it.
Oh, I'm not going to do large print. I don't need old people reading my stuff.
Well, then when you say what you're doing, well, if they're starting with large print, then I don't know if they're going to go,
I don't think
after special editions or anything like that, because it's a slippery slope.
I won't go through Amazon if they did that. I go through someone else. I'm also been in sales my whole life, so
well, I bet you could argue. You could argue the great customer satisfaction. It's a lot of so your bots are dinging this. What about the customer? The 70-year-old lady that cannot read unless it's large print, and this series has 15 books, and you damn well know that you're making money off those 15 large print books. So why are you saying that it's duplicate and you're trying to take it down?
They're crazy. Yeah, but if you're also doing the numbers that you would like to be doing, you can call up Barnes & Noble and they'll buy a run. The same thing with Walmart or Target. Like, if your numbers are at a certain point, you can ask for them to buy a run. And one of Walmart's specialties is they'll do like 1,000, books per X amount of stores. And if it sells those 1,000 out, they'll up the sale, but they won't look at you until you're already making a number of sales. So Amazon shouldn't really be the end game. The end game should be, how do I build my brand to the point where, my sales are, because like I see some people are like, oh, I did 100 sales in the last 3 months. And it's like, that's great. why are you working on the next book? You know, and it's like, well, because I need to keep those sales coming in. Well, what do you mean? Well, because the next book will sell 100. And it's like, you're supposed to be building your brand so that first book is always selling, even if it's just consistently selling 30 books a month. Because then when you release the next book, and that's just consistently selling 30 books or 40 books, now you're consistently selling 90 books every month, you know, and like now it's making, but if you're just releasing a book just so it sells another 100 copies, that just shows that your brand, your marketing is not working. And marketing is different than advertisement. We've talked about that, but like Brandon Sanderson goes, I'm going to release a book, and that just because he says that, he's guaranteed 1 million sales or whatever it is, right? Or I used to talk about this with the comedy scene where I'm like, if Louis C.K. goes, I'll be here on Thursday, it'll sell out because his brand, his marketing has connected with so many people emotionally. But he's not doing shows so he can keep making, you know, I hope I can make another $100. He's doing a show knowing it's going to sell out because he's already done the work to build that brand value. And authors should be working on brand value. But I rarely see independent authors, not that all of them do, but I do rarely see independent authors, independent musicians, independent comedians, independent, you name it. Like even actors. I'm like, you're a nobody, which is fine because you know, no one knows who you are, but you can be a somebody before you even get on film. And they're like, how? I'm like, you just got to get your name out there. You got to market and advertise that brand. You got to get involved. You need people to see and hear you. You need to do interviews. You know, you need to get involved with things that you believe in, like nonprofits, if possible. You know, oh, well, I have a family, I have kids, I have this, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, all right, well, what works for you? Find out, because you still have to do those things. You just have to find a way to do them within your limitations, because the rule of longevity is, the 3 needs of longevity is, you got to be able to manage your time, money, and people. You got to utilize your entrepreneurial brain to find solutions by thinking outside the box in a proactive way. And then you have to understand your talent, so you have the skills to join other tables and be able to lead, follow, or advise. Lead, not to take over, but to motivate. Follow, not to be seen, but to elevate. And of course, advise when necessary, not to be right, but to have options. And those elements create longevity. But a lot of people, they say, well, I want this piece of paper. This will make me money. And if it doesn't make me money, then I'm not going to do anything, you know, for it, you know, and that destroys, I'll fix it. That destroys an actual career, because they're reliant on a thing. Like, imagine I was like, yeah, I'm going to sell this. This is all I want to sell. All right, it sold 20, so I made another one, so buy that. But there's nothing to connect to. It's just a necessity. I need bookmarks, so I just happen to see it, so I'm gonna buy I like the design, so I'm gonna buy the bookmark. But they're not buying it because I made it, and that would be bad marketing. You want them to buy it because I want to support this thing I believe in. That's why I have Yankee shirts and Yankee hats, right? Not that I do, but I'm saying, like, team lovers.
Yeah.
You know, there's a reason you buy a very specific author every time they release a book. Otherwise, you wouldn't buy that book. You know, I'm sure you try new books here and there because of whatever, maybe the style, you like that genre. But once you fall in love with that concept, you probably don't care what the book is because you love that author and you're like, oh, they released another book, I'm going to buy it. Right. Yeah. But it's not wrong not to do that stuff. Like, you could do whatever you want. Yeah,
a lot of people do that. But yeah. And then there's like, they do that, and then they either make a brand out of it, and then like they know, like, because that's kind of what Colleen Hoover did on TikTok. Now everyone knows Colleen Hoover. She's actually stepping back because it's too much for her.
Nice.
And or like, you just kind of keep chasing after the money, and you have to churn out like 6 books a year,
which is a headache.
Continue to make the money. Oh yeah, that's a lot. Well, like the average self-published writer publishes 3 books a year, and I'm like, well, I'm at 2, and that's where I'm gonna go. So guess I'm not making money.
They're also writing 60
like,
to 90,000 words. You know, that's technically not a lot. That's a month worth of writing. If you're doing 7 days a week, 2 hours a day, that's 3,000 words a day. So that's 21,000 a week. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8. There you go. You just wrote your 80,000 words. Now you have to send it away to get edited. Well, it's being edited. What do? You start writing your next book. Start working on it.
mm-hmm.
Of course, people who outline, they outline multiple. I outline like this. Like I can outline like there's no tomorrow, right? But writing the book, you know, now I have to put some time into it. But if somebody has that process, what they do is, while the book is being worked or read by beta readers or whatever is going on, copy editing, they're already in process. They're already working on the next book. So it's not unheard of to see them do that. But again, you're working a job, if not more, right? You know, so your time is limited. So for you to get 2 books out a year, that's a fantastic accomplishment. If I were you, I'd probably focus more on branding. But if you are happy with what you're doing, then there's nothing to change. You know what I'm saying? But if your brain is like, I need to make $8,000 a month, like then now, because you have that statement,
that's different. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to change your method, because your method is not getting you $8,000 a month. And I used to tell that to bands. They'd be like, "Why are we making money?" I was like, "Because you've been doing literally the same formula for 5 years. You book shows, you play that show, you leave the show before the show is over. After you get off the stage, you don't make relationships. You don't try to get any interviews. You don't market yourself. You don't get involved with things. Nobody wants to work with you, because all you do is go, come see the show. We're the only band on the show, even though there's 3 other bands. You know,
mm-hmm.
All you do is tell people to come to your show that already know you. So now you have no friends, because every time they see you, the only thing you say is, we have another show. You want to buy the damn ticket?" And it's like, no, I don't want to buy the ticket to see you do the same 5 songs. You know, but it's the same thing with comedy. It's the same thing with, you know, like, but people, they get focused on, I came up with this idea for success, so I'm just going to do the thing I know works. And then it's 10 years later, and you're like, you're still working at a supermarket, and you're playing music on the weekends. You know, I don't know what happened. Our music is awesome. And it's like, no one cares about the thing. They care about the people, and then they care about the thing. You know?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I have 3 jobs, so that's how I'm going about.
3 jobs. One sells feet pics, the other sells toilet paper.
Yeah. Well, also the big writers making 6, 7, 8 figures are usually romance or contemporary writers, and they're dictating. And if anyone's interested in how all that works out, then you can join Craig Martel's 20 books to 50K group. And that's how I know that they're like 90% of them are dictating, which tried that. My speech impediments say otherwise. But also, I don't know.
No,
well,
go ahead,
also at this point right now, I'm like, I am too tired. The world's on fire. And if the expectation for indie writers from readers is that many books per year, it's not going to happen. I'm not making 8 figures. Okay. That's what I am not a machine. And why is it that traditionally published authors can write 1 book and you're totally fine with that? There's different expectations for self-published versus traditionally published.
The reason is,
so I'm good,
because the traditionally quote unquote published people have a brand that is emotionally connected to. So there is now a demand that needs to be supplied. When it comes to an independent author, there is no demand for their brand. So they have to supply a need that has nothing to do with them, which is romance books. As long as I keep publishing romance books, they will buy it because people want romance books. It's the same thing if we publish fantasy books every week. They're just buying because it's in the genre. But if you built a brand, people will wait a year for a book, especially if that book is dynamite. Like if that book is everything they know will come from you, that it has the things that matter, the themes, the style, your voice. Like, again, one of the things people really love about my book is no matter how thick it is or quote unquote dense, it's a fast read. Now imagine I started writing slow narratives, then they'd be like, this sucks. But part of my brand is it's a fast read. Part of my brand is character driven. Part of my brand is, hello, we have a friend. Eloise.
Oh my God, Eloise. Tinkle,
tinkle. I'll just pay. I've been tinkling all night. I've been holding it. But anyway, that's my I guess my commentary on that is but again, it comes down to what you want. If you want to have a career as a writer, you have to, there's a specific way that has multiple variables to it, if that makes sense. But if you're happy with what you're doing and you're content with where you are, then you change nothing. Like, it's fine to, it's whatever. But
at the moment, I don't have the mental or physical or emotional capacity, so it's not gonna happen. Yeah, I don't have that shit right now. And probably not for the rest of this year. I was like, oh my God, it's gonna get better the next month. Oh my God, it's gonna get better the next month. No, it's almost June, and
you talking about your mental health?
Yeah, well, also like jobs and bills and how many wars are going on, and
there's wars.
Okay, yeah, there's some wars going on. Oh yeah, and there's the election too. Oh my God.
Well, that'll be a war.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm just right now just writing barely and just trying to get through one day at a time. And I might have to take a little bit of a break from writing, because it was, for a while, was like, ooh, okay, let's do this career thing. And then the more I learn about how much books you need to publish, and like you need a lot of indie writers are going for right to sell, and I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So,
well,
okay, like you can make 8 figures, but I've seen quite a few online saying, but I hate the genre now. But like, I can't stop. I can't stop because yeah. But then you're just slowly dying inside. No thanks. I don't want to do that to urban fantasy or historical fiction.
That's why you should just write whatever you want.
Fantasy. Yeah. But when you see those big indie authors making like $1 million.
Yeah, but they're not making $1 million. They're killing themselves for money, and that's a different thing. Like I earn money and I sit home all day. Like there's a reason for that. Because I have set up the foundational element of my finances, and I had to work very hard for that over many years. And the reason I did that is because of what you're saying. That's kind of how it was in the music industry. And my mentors taught me early on, you don't want that. You don't want to be Motley Crue trying to make money because you're in your 50s and you still need the nostalgic people to pay for your bills because you spent all your money. And they just said, you need to organize your money, whatever you make. You have to have a money system, and you have to learn how to. Some people go, if I work more hours, I'll make more money. And I was always taught, how do I work less hours and allow my money to make money? Like, that was the difference in mentality. And my parents, by the way, were not that way. They were, go get a job. They were
Yeah.
You got to work. You got to have a career. You got to go to college. And I not only did I drop out of high school, I never went to college. Not only did I not get a job, but I stopped working in 2005, and the rest.
Mhm.
And I've been, me ever since. But I think you could have a career as a writer doing whatever you like my self-help books are going to come out. I'm putting it on Thomas J. Bellezza because the brand is so powerful. And then when I release the fantasy books, it's going to be Thomas J. Bellezza. And I have a noir book I'm working on. That's going to be Thomas J. Bellezza. And I have, I have this anthology I'm working on with a couple of writers where they know my world. So we're each taking like a made up character within the world, and it's going to basically be nobodies. It's all about nobodies. And like, they get like 3 or 4 chapters of this nobody. And then like somehow it morphs into this other character, because they like walked past each other or something. And now we get to see. So it's always like the people we pass by kind of mentality. But again, I'm not going to be like, well, that's a different style. So my name now is going to be Tom of the J. Bellezza, because the brand is Thomas J. Bellezza. It's always been Thomas J. Bellezza. Even when I was in music, I had Telmo and Altanian as my stage persona, but I marketed Thomas J. Bellezza, who was the manager and the writer and did all the recordings. So musically, I was still very much a part of the project, but people thought I was 2 different people. Telmorn, they thought, was the twin brother of Thomas. So, that's how it was. I would be on stage dressed up. I'd get off stage dressed down, regular clothes. And they'd be like, oh, is your brother coming out? And I'm like, no, he has to rest his voice. He can't talk to people. He's probably napping back there. And they'd be like, oh, tell him I really enjoyed the show. And I'm like, all right, I'll let him know.
Kind of trolly, but, like, that's a good vibe.
It's funny. It's funny. Well, it was because the idea was, if you're playing a show in front of 6,000 people, okay, and you just got off a stage, you need to relax. Like you can't just be like everybody, right? But I did allow people to, take pictures, but I did that you have to control the narrative, or you'll be exhausted and pulled, like you're no longer in control. And then you get into that point where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, What happened here? So Thomas, you're not worried that readers who know you for one genre will get salty for picking up no, because my brand, Thomas J. Bellezza, is the draw. I'll give a quick example of that. I've said it a few times in different places, but like, so my main brand. Oh wait, I'll read this real quick. Like James Patterson writing a romance and all his fans just getting pissed. James Patterson grew a platform on his style of writing, so that's probably why they got mad, is because they weren't. But Anne Rice writes in multiple different genres, from the vampire stuff to erotica to Christian, right? But let me go back to the quick example. So when I started in the music industry. When I say started, I mean that was the first career that popped off for me. But when I left the music industry after 10 years and I had done everything I had to do, I got into acting, and my fan base from my music world came and followed the acting. And then they would literally come to the shows. And then when I started doing comedy, which is completely different than those two, I would have fans from my music career follow me to the comedy. All right. And then when I started doing speaking engagements, they actually started coming to the speaking engagements because they were like, well, it's, he's doing this free thing to help people. He's a really nice guy every time we meet him, and he's successful. So he might have something to say. Right. And then I didn't pitch anything at the end. I wasn't like, oh, now you can buy my weekend product. No, I was like, I would be hired to speak at things, and I'd be like, please let it be free, But the brand is more important than the thing. And that was one of the first things I learned in the music industry from one of my mentors. His name's Ron Alexenberg. He says, music doesn't make you money in the music industry. Music has nothing to do with the music industry. And that's the same with acting. Like when it comes to movies have nothing to do with the movie industry. When it comes to books have nothing to do with the book industry. So if you focus on building your brand, the thing that you are, the representation you are, they support you because they are connected to you emotionally. It's why Metallica, if you like heavy metal, Metallica releases albums, they release books, they release movies. They have side businesses that make money from special car things. They have a guitar industry. They have things for what's the bodyboard, and there's like a short surfboard that's not a bodyboard, but anyway. Or Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie does movies,
Robbie
television,
love
books,
him.
comic books. He does, right? So the Rob Zombie brand is what people are supporting. They're not necessarily supporting the album first, right? They connected with something about the Rob Zombie brand. That's why when Rob Zombie went from White Zombie to Rob Zombie, they still followed him. But you know who they didn't follow? The other members from White Zombie.
Mm-hmm.
Name them. Name their bands. You can't, but you can name Rob Zombie. You can name his movies. You can name, so that's why I'm not worried. If my readers are like, oh, but he said, this and that, because they'll know what to expect from me, because a lot of the things that matter to me that are a part of my brand, I'm sure, like you watch my videos. I'm very inclusive in the sense of like I want to elevate people. I want people to think openly. I want people to embrace their uniqueness. I want to support others. I mean, like I showed you today, there's a whole bunch of authors that are in my video descriptions now. I just started doing that with the last maybe 10 or 12 videos that are coming out that are scheduled, right? Because that is who I am. I started a nonprofit a long time ago that I had to stop when I got sick. That was called Team Rise Together, which was literally about bringing people together in all forms of entertainment, and it's work, grow, and rise together. And I believe I said that to you too, like in my comment back to you, Eloise. I was like, work, grow, and rise together. So people are supporting my brand because they know those elements, either subtly or wholeheartedly, are going to be represented in the things I do. Great point, Thomas. Great point. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I kind of figured out people seem to not flock, but whatever. I'm tired. Flocked me on Wattpad when I had all these different books, but then people would try one of them and then they would read all or most of them, and then they kept coming back. I'm like, okay, but it can't. I mean, it's the writing and the storytelling, but then also I still had a YouTube channel and I was on Twitter, and like they were all connected, and it was like there's something else, because if there's a straight up historical fiction, and then you read a poetry book, and then you read a historical fantasy, and then you read the other poetry book, and it's like they're different and they're different genres. So something's happening here. And so yeah, I just haven't done like branding marketing spiel.
Yeah, you're not necessarily marketing yourself. You advertise your books, but you don't market your brand, which are two different things. But more importantly, you might subconsciously not be aware of it. Or I should say, you might consciously not be aware of your subconscious introduction of things that are important to you. So your poetry might have elements of things that matter to you because they are coming from you, as well as your books having themes that are representative of the things that are inside you that drive your stories and characters. That's part of your brand because it's a part of your voice as a writer. So the way you write poetry and the way you write your prose may be flowerily different, right? But the elements within those things are very much you. If you can hone into what that is, that's a great tool to have. If you can't, it doesn't matter, because what matters to you is going to come out naturally. Like the things you write about are going to naturally come out in the style that you write them. But to the point of what's the difference between advertisement and marketing. Marketing is a representation of the missions, morals, and ideals, the mission, morals, and purpose of what you want out of life, right? And it's the presentation is represented through the things you do or don't do. So let's say you do a talk show, right? Let's say you do The View. I have no opinion on The View. I don't watch The View, but it is a brand. The View's been around for, I think, 20 years or something crazy like that, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Let's say you personally did not agree with the people on The View. You as a brand, if you had PR company, would advise not to go on The View. And the reason is because if you don't support it, don't be represented by it. So your presentation would be like, I'm not going to go on The View, right? But if you, and again, I'm not saying Bill Maher is something I agree with or disagree with. As an example, if your views align more with the Bill Maher show, your PR company would advise you to go on there, because now you can talk openly about the things that matter to you without being destroyed. And it's not so much about an echo chamber. It's about supporting the things that matter. I support people that support people. I don't support people that are selfish, that only care about their thing, that use people. No matter how nice that person is, I'm not going to support them, right? So we have to become a part of or get involved with people that represent, at least in part, something that matters to us. Again, missions, morals, purpose. Missions are the things we want to change in the world, even if it's small. You know, our morals is the way we approach us, and our purpose is what drives us, which is different than a mission. A purpose is like the fire and the fuel. I was lied to. I was always told no. I always felt like I was alone. So my purpose is fueled by making sure other people aren't lied to, making sure that the misconceptions of the industry are moved aside and we are seeing the truth, and that people feel confidently involved when I'm around, and they know if they get involved with me, I'm going to elevate them, right? As long as they elevate others, right? Because I only ask that people pay it forward, because become the change you want to see in the world, right? So that's how you have to look at marketing. Advertisement is money, or free. It's just pushing something. Buy my thing. Here's my thing. I have a thing. Buy this. Did you know I have this thing, right? Oh, here's a thing again. By the way, you could buy it if you go to my website. While you're at my website, remember I have shirts too. Also, I have a book. You should buy that book. By the way, that book is the best book ever. However, that book is not the best book ever, because now I have a new book out. You got to buy this book. It's actually the best book ever. All right, that book is not the best book ever. This book, my third book, is now the best book ever. Like, think about that for a second. Like, how crazy that sounds. You know, like, I'm not going to advertise this book anymore because I have a new book and I want people to buy it. And it's like, don't you want people to buy your book? And
well,
it's
that's why I talk about all my books.
But you shouldn't talk about your books. You should talk about the things that matter. Like the things that matter.
My books matter.
Well, you go, girl.
Well, no, I'm like 90% booktube. So I mean, there's a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're a writer? Oh, I didn't know that, because you don't really talk about it all that much." Yeah, exactly.
Which is different than your books.
Yeah. So I'm like, "Oh yeah, well, you know, my links are in the description.
Buy my books.
That's for you." If you want to. And they're like, "Oh, I just want to support you." And then they'll buy. I had quite a few people do that. But then I'm like not pressing them or anything about share it or about it, and because some people do, and I'm just like, ugh, geez, that's so annoying. But I do run Amazon ads, but it's not really that hands-on like what you could be doing. I'm not scaling or advertising all the books or anything like that. But yeah, Amazon's doing weird stuff with their algorithm anyway. And there's also like a little summer slump.
Yeah, but two points is the first one is you should be advertising an ad that is actually representative of your brand, that isn't necessarily about a book. But the other thing is, like, I always find it interesting when people market a book and then they're like, well, the sales are going down, so I'm going to re-release a new book. And it's like, but there's no way you sold 6 trillion books. And they're like, what do you mean? I go, there are more people out there that exist that will absolutely buy your book. But because you're only marketing a book, that is your brand. You become the book if that's what you push. And that's how marketing works, because it's your representation. So if you're only representing your brand through the presentation of a book, you are only the value of the book. And then once you stop with that book and move it to the side because you're done, their sales diminished, and then you present the new book, you're actually rebranding. You're starting over with your marketing because the book has a different cover, has a different subject. It's not the same story. So now you have to redo it. And now you lose all the original people except for a very small percent, which is usually 1%. And now you're just trying to get another couple 1%ers in there, right? But the idea is just stay focused on the things that matter, as far as like the things you care about talking about. Talking about your book shouldn't be the thing that matters, because that's not the mission. Isn't I want to make money writing books, because that's not a mission. That's a goal, right? That's something for you. A goal is for you. A mission is for the betterment of the world around you, right? So, but like when you talk about books, like when you're talking about the books you like and the books you read and the things you like about certain books, that's your brand speaking, because the things you like is indicative to your presentation, is indicative to your perspective, and the things you don't like, right? But this is the thing. If people find out you do write books, and they are connected to, I agree with Nicole, she likes these elements in the book she reads, and she read the book I like, and she liked the same thing I liked in that book, there's a chance her book will have these same elements in them that I like. They might be a different representation of those elements, but the elements might be there. And that is how you build on brand. Because people connect with, you didn't like Lord of the Rings because you thought it was overcomplicated and filled with exposition. I thought the same thing. That means your books won't have lots of exposition, right? It won't talk about waking up every morning and going on for another travel, right? But that is brand.
Yeah. So that's why I'm a booktuber, not an author tuber.
That's right.
I do author tuber stuff sometimes, but I'm actually my brand is actually booktuber. And then they're like, oh, you have a book? Oh, okay, I'll get your book or books.
I'll buy the book. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm writer tube, because I'm
you're a
technician. Tube. But it's my personality and the way I present that makes people interested in what I potentially will have to offer. Yeah. So like, so it's still the same if I did author tube or not. It's still going to affect the same way if how I talk about the art or the craft, because writers read, right? So it's not like my audience isn't there.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, you were talking about my brand. My brand is booktube, and then people know me booktube.
Booktube.
I didn't start author tube. I don't like, and also vlogging about writing. What, sangria and tears? Like, what do you?
That's that can get tiring.
So great, like I wrote such a great time.
Yeah. Eloise is leaving us. Need to run and put the boy to bed. Thanks for wisdom and chill. See you next time. We're actually going to be on tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right?
Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Hope that you can stop by or maybe even join us, Eloise.
Oh, you asked her to join in? That'd be fun. It'd be fun for her to join.
Maybe Andy, maybe Eloise, maybe some people. I don't know. It's a interesting time period. 2 p.m. PST, 5 p.m. EST, some other ESTs. Well, I am tired.
Yeah, it's 11.
Yeah, tired. My goodness. We were chit-chatting, and I think this is productive, but in different ways.
Yeah, I think we had some fun. Hope I wasn't annoying. I know I can get passionate about those things. I just
Well, I think there's many different ways to do stuff, and
Agreed.
If you are struggling in whichever way or many ways, then it's okay to be like, yeah, if the market or the trend right now is this, and that, well, I'm just gonna think on just doing my own thing right now, and things change all the time,
Yeah.
which is where I'm at. I'm like, well,
do anything you want in this world except for hurt other people.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And have fun. I think my channel is chill, fun, positive, messy, but in a good way.
And buttercups.
And that's about me in a nutshell, as well as well, I also talk about mental illness and stuff.
Yeah.
So if I was fully like present, I could answer those three things that you said, but I'm not. So my brain is mush, and I'm like, what are words? But like, if I thought about it, I could write it down because I've done it before. But then I'm not there right now.
Well, listen, you may not be present, but you are a present.
That is true. I'm a gift to some people.
The world. All right. Well, with that, it is it's almost 11 over here, so
yeah, you need to get to bed, old man.
Tired eyes.
Yeah. I have to go eat dinner.
All right. Well, you go eat.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.